Expecting people to think the way you think can get frustrating. You look at a situation and you're like, well, if it were me, I'd handle it like this. And then you're confused or irritated when someone doesn't handle it the way you would handle it. It's not because they're being cruel. It's not because they don't care. They just don't operate the way you operate. And once that really sinks in, a lot of unnecessary tension can ease up. Now, most of us don't walk around thinking, I'm expecting everyone to be me today. But that expectation shows up quietly. You're consistent, so you expect consistency. You follow through, so you assume other people will follow through too. You think things through, so it's surprising when someone doesn't. And when they don't respond the way you would respond, it starts to feel kind of personal, even when it isn't. And there's that one question almost everyone is asked at some point. Why did they do that? Why did they do that? And what that question usually means is, I would never handle it that way. And that moment, that head-scratching moment, is where frustration starts. Because instead of recognizing that people think differently, move differently, and prioritize differently, we start expecting them to respond the way we would. And that expectation can quietly set us up to be disappointed. Now, here's where things usually start to feel heavy. You adjust how much you give. You remind instead of waiting to see what happens. You follow up instead of trusting it'll happen. You step in so deadlines aren't missed, conversations don't stall, or situations don't fall apart. Not because anyone asked you to, but because that's how you operate. And over time, resentment can build. Not because someone did something terrible, but because you keep expecting the same level of effort, urgency, and follow through that comes naturally to you from someone who simply doesn't operate the same way you operate. Now, that's not about right or wrong, it's about differences. And differences like that don't get solved by explaining more or trying harder. When you stop expecting people to be you, something shifts. You stop trying to get them to see things the way you see them. You stop replaying conversations in your head, thinking about what else you could have said to make it make sense to them. And you stop waiting for the moment when it finally clicks for them. Instead, you start paying attention to what people are actually doing, not what you hope they'll do. It doesn't make you cold. It means you stop making decisions based on how you wish things were and start dealing with how things really are. Now, most people aren't frustrated because they don't care enough. They're frustrated because they keep expecting people to operate the way they operate. And when you stop doing that, you argue less, you feel less hurt, and you waste less energy. Not because people suddenly change, but because what you expect finally lines up with who they actually are. And that alone can make things feel a lot